Hello, are we live? Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, I think we're live. So this morning on Art Alchemy podcast, we are talking about summer colour and collecting inspiration as well during summer, because we're kind of in those months now, aren't we, where people are starting to go away. So we thought it'd be a good time of year, really, to start having a chat about summer colour. And we are also talking about summer colour in our Art Hub online membership, aren't we, Deb? So
We are, yes.
me and
Yeah,
Debs run an art community online, and it's all about the creative process.
yeah. And
Um,
yesterday we had an interesting conversation because we have something called Art and Chat. So we just paint and talk at the same time about things. But it was really interesting because what came up was the fact that um, sometimes when you're out and about in the summer, people want to do art less
yeah,
slightly. You'd think, because I'm like, oh, it's sketch season. I want to paint. I want to do that. But there's less of the in the studio painting, I think, slightly. But for people who go on holiday and who are interested in art, often they feel that they're not doing anything at all. But the conversation that we had was all about, but I notice things more and I take lots of photographs and what we wanted to say out of, I mean, I'm slightly going off the summer color thing. We'll come back to that in a minute, but it's that observation thing that you can do in the summer, which doesn't detract from any of the other things you want to do, like gardening and holidays and all of that. It all adds up, doesn't it? Because it fills your inspiration sort of well, so to speak.
yes, yeah, definitely. And I think people, we spoke about this as well, people can often feel guilty because they're not actually in the studio painting, or they might not be using their sketchbook. But it's a really important part of the creative process, isn't it? Like getting inspired and getting out there. And because it's more, I think, more of a social time of year where you're on holiday, you're also starting to slow down a bit, aren't you, in the summer months in terms of taking it a bit more easy and making time to see people and to, quite often on holiday and things like that.
Yeah, yep. See your grandkids because all of the all kids,
Yeah.
because you've got the 6 weeks holidays and all of those times as well. But we're not quite in the holiday season just yet because we're still. The thing that I'm finding at the moment with the summer colour side of things is that it's moved like the garden. Currently, I've got a new border. So there's things coming up that they were planted 2 years ago, but now they're starting to really establish. And I don't quite know the poppies. There's loads of poppies and they're all pink. I know that they're pink because they did flower last year, but I'm waiting for them to just be about to flower. And then there's loads of these like spiky things that I really don't know what they are yet. And I think that this is a time where you almost get an in-betweeny colour thing, but
Mm,
the leaves change.
mm.
So you start to get a difference in the colour of the leaves. And I actually change my palette in the summer. Do you? Do
Yes,
you?
well, I mean, I've changed my palette quite a lot over the last couple of months anyway, to something quite different. But there's definitely a seasonality, isn't there, to the colour? Because at the end of summer, you kind of get all of these rich jewel tones. So you'll be getting like
Mm,
sunflowers in your garden, which are like
yeah.
that lovely deep warm yellow, and things
Yes.
like salvia, which are like a really rich purple. Whereas at the beginning of the summer, it's all quite sort of pale pastel, and then I think it starts to warm up, doesn't it, as the season goes
Exactly.
on?
So my colour palette, what I do if I'm going out sketching, if I'm going sketching in the spring, I tend to use things like lemon yellow, which are more
Hmm.
like, yeah, an acidy yellow. And then it changes to cadmium yellow, a more warm yellow as I move through. And the other thing that I notice as well, sometimes you probably don't really notice, but you get this sort of reddy tinge on the top of the hedgerows and that
Mm.
sort of thing. And so I also tend to change to more cad red type colours, so more orangey reds than. And I'm a big favourite of things like permanent rose and
Mm.
those alizarin crimson type. So the purpley reds, I'm a big favourite because I love purple. But in the summer, I tend to change to those colours. Um, and then the other thing that happens is you have, when I think of summer colour, I think of summer colour as, the garden, the mountains, the hedgerows, all those sorts of things. But
Yeah.
I also think of sea. So the other change to the palette can sometimes be, the blues as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know whether, I think because I respond very much in my art with what's surrounding me at the time. So my inspiration is very, very directly related to whatever's going on. But I definitely have different palettes.
I've,
Um,
yeah, and I've also noticed a difference between geographically being in Scotland versus being in Brighton now in
mm,
terms of colour. Um, and not just in nature, but within like everything that's around me. So Scotland, because it gets such amount of rainfall, the bonus to that is everything looks really, really green and really, really vivid. Um, and it stays green as well. So if you go to London in the summer, there's lots of patches of grass that are just completely dried out on there. Whereas
yeah.
Scotland, that never really happens. It stays really green, and you get these really, really sort of rich, gorgeous, kind of saturated greens wherever you go.
Deep, dark colours as well. Quite,
Mm,
yeah.
yes, yeah, and obviously you've got the landscape of Scotland, which is a lot more hilly, a lot more dramatic, and quite expansive as well in places. So you've got that really kind of wide, open landscape. Um, Whereas here, because I'm by the sea, I feel like I've still got that space and that open landscape, but it's just in a different form because I'm by the coast. So it's been fascinating just to walk down the coast pretty much every day and see the changes in the sea and the different colours.
Mm.
Because depending on the weather and the sky, you get completely different blues and greens and all sorts of colours happening in that space. And that's been very inspiring.
You can have quite a lot of greys as well on the not so nice days. They're
Yes.
quite exciting, actually. I know
Yeah.
people might not think of it as an exciting colour, but I think I'm getting more and more into the neutrals because I
Mm,
think that the more you observe, the more you notice.
yeah.
And so you start to see some of those subtleties, and that's an exciting thing about being an artist, actually, because you really start to notice what's around you
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. And that's a really important part, isn't it, of the creative process? I mean, we were speaking about it yesterday, um, and just taking that time to stop and notice what's around you, what's going on. And you don't have to go away and do lots of sketches and things like that. It's enough just to notice, to stop and look, take some pictures, and then you
Mm.
can always come back to them again, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. And if you want to, it is a great time for sketching as well. I know that you
Mm,
don't have to. I think that lots of, because yesterday we were talking about the fact that when you go away, sometimes you don't want to take extra stuff, and taking photographs also helps you to capture everything. But having a little sketch, just try and make it small. That
yeah,
also is quite good as well.
yeah.
Because just sitting on a beach and sketching, it's just, I don't know. It's lovely. It's a
It
lovely thing
is.
to do.
It is really
Yeah.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
And last week I went out with Lydia. We sat outside in the forest, in the
yeah.
trees, and just did some sketching there. And then we sat by some water, which was like a little pool type thing. And then the rain started. So I was like, oh, just shut you. But it was just the little drops on the water, and it's
Yeah.
not cold because it's summer, so you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
You can actually have a little bit of rain and still be out sketching. You just have to cover your book up whilst it's raining.
Unless, of
Yeah.
course, you want to use the raindrops as like part of the artwork.
Absolutely. Yeah. That once happened to me when we went and I did a painting and we were plein air. So it was actually acrylic painting.
Yeah.
And the water was, it went onto the sky and it's still there because in the layers, it's like, yeah, it can look really good.
Yeah. But I mean, summer colour can mean different things to different people as well, can't it? And I think that's really interesting in terms of like the psychology of colour. And the also like not just being in the moment, but like the memories we also associate with different types of colour as well. So it could be like a place you've been, and say for instance, like a terracotta tile really reminds you of being like in the Mediterranean, or
Mm.
you know, some sort of shade of blue that reminds you of a particular sea. Because when you go away as well, there's all these different colour palettes, aren't
Yeah,
there?
when you're in the
You can draw
Mediterranean
on.
Sea and if on a good day and it's turquoise,
Oh,
absolutely gorgeous, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
sort of, I think it brings back all of those feelings, doesn't it? We attach a lot to
Yeah.
different colours.
Mm,
So it's bringing that emotion into
mm,
your art, which you can use, can't you, when you're
mm.
painting?
And actually, you were talking about what they term it local color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's definitely local color, which is what you're talking about.
Mm,
The yeah, and I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to come and visit you in Brighton, aren't I? Because it's
yeah,
nice to know where you are in the world, as in,
yeah.
because for those who don't know, Ruth moved from Scotland to Brighton, so it, and I haven't seen her yet in Brighton, apart from through Zoom. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to coming down and going and seeing your beach.
Yeah, exactly. And having a wander around and seeing all the different places. I mean, it's a fantastic place to live. I've definitely noticed a different kind of colours that are even like the way that like the marinas painted that sort of turquoisey, almost greeny
Mm.
blue at the seafront. But you've got a little bit of rust coming in as well, which I think is really nice.
And has that inspired some of your postcards?
Yes, it
You had
has.
this
Yeah.
postcard range, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, and I'm still doing that at the moment. So I've been doing a series of, I suppose you'd call them like colour paintings, where I'm taking different colours that I see out and about in Brighton, and doing a series of kind of small little framed postcards off the back of that. So I
Mm.
suppose that's about processing what's around me, using that as inspiration, looking at the different colour combinations. Because that's another thing I find fascinating is when two certain types of colour are next to each other and how it changes that colour as well, doesn't it? Because it can change depending on what you put that colour next to and look quite different.
Exactly, yeah. So if you put a real neutral next to a really saturated, strong colour, then that will make it pop more.
Yeah,
But also, you've got those complements going on as well that can
yeah,
make a big difference as well. We
yeah.
can do that on another session because it's quite, that's almost a topic on its own, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. But you saying that reminds me, I went to Mexico a few years ago, and they've got loads of gorgeous like ceramics and pottery, but a lot of it is just kept very natural, or they'll put like say like a whitewash on a sort of a plastered wall, but it'll look very kind of raw, and you've got
Mm,
all those kind of raw earthy colours, but next to like the really kind of rich colours associated with Mexico, so like the reds and the oranges and
mm,
the purples, and the two together I
mm.
think does kind of just make it pop.
Make you think of Mexico as well, though, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it
When you're
does.
saying that, even the colours
Yeah,
you're describing.
yeah,
If you think about like Greece and Santorini or somewhere, and you think
yeah,
of the blues and the whites of the
yeah,
buildings,
yeah,
or you're thinking of the Cotswolds and the Cotswold stone, often it's very much geared towards what is local in the surroundings, the actual stone. So
Yeah.
in Wales, you've got like the slate and
Mm-hmm.
those greys,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all beautiful, but they're beautiful in different ways, and they're often fed by the materials that have been used because of the surrounding the earth and what's there. Uh,
Yes, it's very true, isn't it? It's like their identity is wrapped up within the colours and the materials and the things
yeah,
that you see around.
yes. As opposed to, I don't know how you make brick, but you know, it's different from the stones that we see in the stone walls and things
Yeah,
like that, that
yeah,
very much are directly attached to the
yeah.
surroundings. So yeah, yeah, there's quite a lot to unpack actually. You don't realize it, do you?
There is, there is. And I think like, I mean, we've set a challenge, haven't we, for the
For
next
the
couple
summer.
of months in
Mm.
Art Hub. So we do a challenge every 3 months and it's for people to like, I suppose it's like fun homework in a way, isn't it? It's like it's a topic that we set for people to explore.
Yeah.
Um, and then because the Art Hub, it's like an online app, so people can post their pictures in there of how they're getting on with the challenge and the sorts of things that they're finding and the sorts of things that they're interested in. I always find it fascinating how everyone has a slightly different take on it as well. So I'm sure for the summer colour theme that we've set for the next 3 months, there'll be a lot of variety in terms of what people think of summer colour. So
Mm.
to someone else, it might be summer dresses and the beach. I mean, we've talked quite a lot about nature, haven't we?
We have,
But
but yeah, we
it,
sort of naturally do that, don't we?
yeah, yeah, but it
Yeah.
could be all sorts of things, couldn't it? And I think it's also teaching people how to like honor their intuition and what they're interested in and like give them permission to go out and really like do a deep dive into that topic of what it might be.
Yeah, because exactly the dresses and the going on holiday and all of those things, it might be a completely different association from nature, as you say.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, thinking about the bright shirts that people wear in the summer and stuff like
yeah.
that. Things that you wouldn't. I mean, I've gone away and bought dresses when I've been away and come back and thought, well, I don't know where I'm going to wear
Am
that
I going to
really
wear
because
this
it's
again?
just really bright.
Or summer hats or yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yes. Oh, and festivals. Yeah, summer
yeah,
festivals.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. It's festival
yes. Because
season. It's
was it
Glastonbury in
last
a
year?
few weeks.
I went to the Upton Blues Festival,
Mhm.
and it was the first time I'd been, and it's like, well, where's your hat? And then you have to buy the flowers to go on the hat, and it's like, and it all
Dressing the
becomes,
part.
yeah,
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 and it's great fun.
yeah,
It is a nice time, summer. It is.
yeah, it is. I love
Mm,
it.
yeah.
But I suppose that's the thing about art, isn't it? Like, the more personal you can get with it, the more you will then, I think, be able to communicate that feeling outward. So, like, things that are personal to you, it's surprising. If you can tune into that, then I think you'll be more likely to connect with people. Do you agree?
Mm, yeah, definitely. Because
Yeah.
other people will be connected to that particular thing.
Yeah.
So I think I think poppies and sunflowers and there's certain things that you have. Like for
Yeah.
me, that's quite florals in the
Yeah.
summer as well. So
Yeah.
some people will connect to that, and some people will be seaside all the way, or you know, flowery dresses or whatever it is. And so if you're doing something that's very personal to you, not everybody will connect at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But if you're doing authentic you, then there will be people that really understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I think there'll be a stronger connection, won't it? Rather than um people kind of, will leave it or take it sort of thing. I think we spoke about this before, but I think it's a good thing when not everybody likes your artwork because I think it means you're putting more of you into it, aren't you? Which not
mm,
everybody's going to get. Just like we are human beings, you can't be friends with absolutely everybody and get on with absolutely everybody. It just doesn't work, does it? So you've got to really tap into yourself.
mm. And I think we've actually, because we've done about 20, 25 minutes now.
That's true.
Just,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, unless we've got anything else to discuss on summer colour, I'm thinking that we ought to explain a little about the fact that we're going live every week. But
Yeah.
one week we're going to be on Ruth's channel, and
Yeah.
the other week we're going to be on my channel. And hopefully we will sort of publish snippets or bits on the other channels as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can find out where we're going to be either in our Facebook group, which anybody can join, or in Art Hub. So if you're watching and you want to catch us live, the idea is that because I've had a quick look, we're definitely live, but I can't see anybody in the comments or anything
Yeah.
yet. But we're hoping that as people know where we are, that you can come and you can literally chat to us live as well,
Yeah,
as in through the
exactly. That would be
comments.
really lovely, wouldn't it, to get some
It
live
would be really
interaction?
lovely to start, yeah. But meanwhile, if you've got any questions or you want us to discuss something for next week, because we're going to be doing it every week,
Yeah,
then if you can put that in the comments, we will actually, discuss what you want us to discuss. If you've got
exactly.
any questions,
Yeah,
that would be great.
yeah, definitely. And just make sure that I mean, I suppose the best thing to do for people would be just to subscribe to both channels and then you'll see us when we're
Oh yeah,
live.
you'll see us automatically if you come on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. The other thing is, we'll definitely put the link to the Facebook group because then you'll be told because there'll be an
Yeah,
alert set up. I think that we're
yeah.
going to set that up on our pages as well, aren't we?
Yes,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
yes,
Okay.
we're getting there. When we've been doing this a couple of weeks, really. So
Yeah, it's just with technology, isn't it? Everything's always constantly changing and you sort of having to keep up with things. So, yeah,
mm,
it's not
yeah,
always easy.
yeah. But you'll definitely find us. So
Yeah,
do come 9 o'clock every Friday.
yeah.
All right. And
Okay, doke. Should we say goodbye then?
yeah, okay. So
We'll